Hello everyone, Noto Addiction speaking here. In today's video, we're going to discuss how to support your family and friends who have a drug addiction. If you're new here or you're been here, go ahead and click that like button, go ahead and comment, go ahead and subscribe, click that notification bell so you can be notified whenever I drop a video. And without further ado, we're going to get into this video because I know there's a lot of people that probably have family members and friends that may have an addiction, they have a drug addiction, and they feel like they just stand on the sideline and can't really do anything for them and stuff like that. So I'm going to teach you how you can support them without feeling like you're being an enabler, feeling like you can, feeling like you're making the whole situation worse. But I'd say the first thing to do in that situation is one, not to look at them like they're a drug addict. Even if it is true, even if they are addicted to drugs, treating them as such will only make things worse. So you can change your own psychology before you even address them. Because if you see them as a junkie, if you see them as a crackhead, you see them as this type of person, you're going to come at them a certain way. You're not going to come at them in a respectful manner. So you can first start respecting them by changing your psychological state of mind and how you view them. So you can start helping them right there, because if you're constantly judging them, it's gonna come out some way, shape, or form, even if it's in the tone of your voice or the way you look at them and stuff like that. Because at the end of the day, being judgmental helps nobody. So being judgmental helps nobody. So the first thing you do is change how you look at them. Understand that this is another human being that's found a hard time, no matter what it is that's got them to this point where they're addicted to drugs and they need help, but they want their family around. But most of their family is just judging them. They probably feel like they can't go anywhere, and the last thing they need is you coming around, judging them and giving them fake love and judging them just to and helping them out of spite, or I just saying I'm helping you out, but really doing it from a bad place, not really doing it to try to actually help them, just doing it just because you feel like so they can depend on you or you can owe you one or something like that. There's a lot of people that actually do that. So don't come off to them like that. So if you have a family friend with a drug addiction, don't ever come off judgmental to them. Almost act like it's not even there. You see what I'm saying? Come to them as if you come to another family member that you actually care about. Don't come to them addressing their drug addiction. Don't come to them doing anything like that. One, feed them. A lot of them are actually very hungry. To keep it a buck, yeah, a lot of them really are very hungry. To an extent, a lot of them would rather do their drugs than to eat. So bring them some food sometime. Bring them a plate of food sometime. You never know where they are, and sometimes it don't always have to necessarily be a family member or friend that's out on the street or on the road. But that's the typical scenario. I mean, setting for this type of addiction. Usually you'll see them somewhere with the homeless and all that. But hey, it can be a person with a drug addiction that is in house or something like that. Like that one thing, supporting them with food and supporting them with just your moral support, just coming around, having an honest conversation and speaking nothing about the drugs, just asking how they are in life, even if they don't, even if you feel like, oh, I mean, my life's not any good, and they're being pessimistic about it, try to bring a type of sense of optimism to their life. Because if you indulge in their pessimistic behavior, it's only going to make the situation worse. So try to make them see some type of silver lining out of their situation. Like this, you know, check on them. Because even if you feel like you're not getting anywhere, them knowing that somebody actually cares about them, them knowing that can also help them. Like, okay, I got somebody out here that cares about me. Because at the end of the day, there's a lot of people that have a drug addiction that don't feel like nobody is really there, that nobody actually do something for them, that they feel like they have absolutely no one, so they got to turn to the streets. And that's why there's a lot of things too, not even just with the drug addiction in and of itself. There's actually a community out there. There's like a family out there, like they really depend on them and look at them as family as opposed to their own biological family, or someone that could be their spiritual family or something like that, or a friend, from the past or something like that. So if them actually feeling like they have some type of, they can confine in you, they can depend on you, and they can feel like, okay, I got somebody that out there that does a lot for them, even if they frown up every time they see you, even if they don't want to see you or nothing like that, even if they're not in their right mind when they see you. Trust me, somewhere in that subconscious, they know that you're there. They know that no matter how far gone they may be, because you never know. It's so many drugs out here, just so many, just depending on what they're on, that can make them just not even understand, probably not even recognize you at times. But understand when they come down, because at the end of the day, they can try to stay high or try to stay in that loop for as long as they can. They have to come down at some point of time, even if it's just a couple minutes or 30 minutes a day or something. That's gonna run through their mind. So them actually knowing that they have somebody that cares about them will definitely go a long way, even if you feel like it ain't. Oh yeah, bringing them a plate of food, keeping them, try to help nourish them. And I'm not saying that you gotta feed them and give them 3 square a day or something like that. at the end of the day. Because and then you'll be like, no, to what if they try to trade their food for drugs or something like that? I mean, if that's the case, then probably just get them like a snack or something like that, so they can't do that. So that's another way that you can do something for them without actually becoming an enabler. You know what I mean? So don't try to give them money because you know what the first thing they're gonna do if you try to give them some money. So that's not the way you help a person who have a drug addiction. That's not how you support them. You support them by giving them things that they can't really get the drugs for. You give them your you give them support where and they can confide in you. You give them like support that make them feel like they can trust you, feel like they can depend on you. That's the type of thing that they feel like they got somebody on the outside that's looking in. Because the last thing you want to do is have them on the streets or trapped in that addiction. Because like I say, there's a lot of people that's addicted to drugs that aren't just necessarily homeless. They have a place to lay their head and stuff like that. But a lot of them feel like they just got to go there because they feel like their problems are so big and that nobody else can help them or nothing like that. And they turn to the drugs and they get hit to the drugs. But even then, even if they get to the point where okay, they are addicted to the drug, but at the same time they get to the point where they're addicted to the drug. But the problem, okay, they want to solve that problem, but they're still addicted to the drug because they use that as a coping mechanism. So if they use the drug as a coping mechanism, and even though the problem could be fixed, it's still we have another problem because now they're addicted to what they use as a coping mechanism to actually fix the actual problem. So they could be come to terms with the problem. Okay, yeah, I've done this. I'm good. I'm over this, but I use this to cope, so I'm still hooked to this because now they're physically they're physically dependent on that drug now at this point in time because a lot of these drugs really have a physical thing and a lot of people actually have to go to rehab. They can't just come off of it because it can have like fatal consequences. It can have very dire consequences trying to come off of it without being under medical supervision. So that's another thing too. So even if they come to terms with the problem, that's when you step in and help them. But another thing too, don't try to force them into rehab. Don't try to force them to do anything because you're just going to look like another person judging them and saying that, oh, you need to do this, you need to get yourself together and stuff like that. Now there's ways to do that. Now if they respond well to that, and okay, you wake up, you got kids out here, you're saying this like that, but don't just keep jamming it down their throat like this and just slandering them. You see what I'm saying? That only points them into another direction. And then that you brought up the fact that okay, you missed another one of your daughters or son's birthday or something like that, or they just got promoted a grade, or certain events in like their child's life, or it could be a person that they care about's life, and you just reminded them of what they're missing out on. That can actually be counterproductive. So you probably wanted them to be like, okay, you wanted to come from the stance of saying, oh, look, your kids are out here, you need to be taking care of them. But don't you think they know that? Don't you think they want to be in their kids' lives? The reason they really go away because they don't want them kids to see them in that environment or in like trapped by that drug addiction anyway. So the last thing they want to be is reminded of what they're missing. And that's going to in turn make them want to use the fact that they're actually missing out on their lives and go to the drugs and use that as a coping mechanism to get over that new problem that you gave. So you get to the point where you're becoming a shiesty mechanic. It's a shiesty mechanic syndrome. You fix one problem and it's 3 or 4 other problems. So that's not how you address and help and support your friends and family that have a drug addiction. The best way you can do is just be there for them. Actually, just be a listening ear, not a judgmental ear. There's a whole different thing. You give them advice if they ask for it. Don't force anything. Don't say, "Oh, you need to go to rehab. You need to do this. You need to do that." No, now you can touch on it, but whatever. At the end of the day, they know that you notice that they're on this drug. They know that they can see that you're looking good, and they say that they're not. They know this. You see what I'm saying? And don't treat them like they're retarded or something. Don't treat them like they are mentally like they don't have any sense. That's another thing. Don't sit there and act like them. Treat them like they're less than a human being. So that's I'll just give me some pointers on how to actually support because I've done that and it's actually had really really good results. And then when they have somebody that they can talk to, you never know, you might not end up getting a phone call from them, or they want to come hang with you, want to come talk with you. That can be a step in the right direction for them to actually get off of it. Because if they have somebody, okay, you could become that person they want to talk to and actually feel comfortable talking to about anything, then that can in turn help for them because that can be psychological therapy for them. So even though they might be physically attached to this drug and they feel like and their psychological state of mind is dependent upon that, but it's really their physical state, their physical body, they're physically addicted to this drug. But now they have somebody to confide in, and now they can get that help if they even want to take that step a step further. But they have to choose that. At the end of the day, they have to make that choice. At the end of the day. But anyway, I didn't want to stretch it out any longer. I just wanted to go on and just say that because I know there's a lot of people that see their family and friends that might be addicted to drugs and they feel like they're on the sidelines and they can't do nothing for them. And there's things you can do for them. And just because they don't get right off the streets, even if a couple months or a couple years of this, even if you're there and you can't get them off the streets, it still feels good to have somebody in your corner, no matter what. Trust and believe me on that. Now, even if you feel like just because they're now off the streets because of the things that you're doing for them, doesn't mean it isn't helping them in some way, shape, or form. Trust me, believe me on that. But anyway, it's No Addiction here, coming to another video. And if any of this resonates with you, if anything of this helps you or find any value in this channel, I'm gonna click that like button, go to comment, go to subscribe, click that notification bell so you can be notified whenever I drop a video. And remember, anybody can get over a drug addiction. Just be there for your people. Be there. You never know what you can do. All it takes is you to take one step. And that's all that can help, that can do. You never know what little small gesture you can do to help change somebody's life and possibly get them to a goal, get them to the point where they actually want to get on a trip to actually overcome that addiction or get away from that addiction. But I'm out.